Fellas, today we're gonna go over how to unlock the Praxic blade, as well as the first 3 exotic catalysts. That's right, they have already been figured out. Now, there is one more catalyst, but currently right now it is locked behind the Equilibrium dungeon. So we're gonna have to wait until at least December the 13th until we can get that one. With that being said though, this is gonna be almost a complete guide, and we're gonna start with the very basic, and that is the mission itself. To gain access to the Fire and Ice mission, you're going to need to progress the Renegades campaign. Essentially, at step 33, you will be tasked with visiting the Praxic temple. Now, if you completely understand this mission and you already have done it, feel free to skip ahead, guys, to the timestamps, but I am going to go over the basics of this mission because I know it did confuse some people, especially with the mechanic at the end. But let's go through this jumping puzzle first. When you load into Europa, the first thing you're going to want to do is start heading straight ahead towards the path that cuts through the ice. Now, either of the paths are fine. They all cut through to basically the same place. Now, as you continue forward, you'll see some doorways that are shielded, but don't worry about those. We're not going to be going through those entrances. Now, I will also say, guys, if you've got like a grapple build, lion rampants, pretty much any exotic that can help you with movement, it will be very beneficial during this jump puzzle. Now, what you're going to be looking out for here, guys, is this hangar area with the big bay door that's open. There'll be some ads out front. You can clear them out if you want, but the main objective is going to be simply heading in here to the left, kill this Colossus that has this ablative shield, and then once you kill him, he'll drop a key card called Imperium Door Codes, which you can then slot in right here. After that, guys, this door in the back of the room is going to open, and this is where you're going to head to next. Now, as you progress forward, you'll end up in an area called the courtyard. From here, you just need to get close to the front of the room where the pyramid resonance object is on the pedestal. Now, once you get close, ads will start to spawn in the room, and you just need to clear them out until an ogre spawns. This ogre will be named Portal Keeper. Once you kill him and any other stray ads, a portal will spawn in the doorway at the front of the room. Head right on through, guys, and on the other side, you will be in the Ascended Plane. Now, right when you come out, there will be an object called Imbalance Octant. When you pick this up, you'll see in the bottom left-hand of your screen the text, "A navigational device was found, but is out of balance." The key word there, though, is balance, as this is going to be a big part of the mechanics in the later encounters. Now, depending on whether you're running the normal version or the legendary version, you'll have one different step here. For the normal version, you're going to just situate yourself on the other side of this column, and then you can jump into the backside and fall down to where we need to go. But if you're on the legendary version of the mission, you're going to have some splinters to shoot around the room that start the timer for the mission. Don't worry, guys, as long as you know what you're doing, you will have plenty of time to complete this mission. Now, after you shoot the splinters, you'll head down the same way. Another thing to keep in mind here is the fact that from this point on, we can start picking up objects for one of our catalysts. We're going to cover this later in the video as we're just going through the basics right now. Keep in mind though, for those that are wanting to get the catalyst, you will need to have the Praxic blade with you in the mission in order to destroy some taken oddities. Now, with that out of the way, back to the traversal section, you want to jump down the hole in this pillar and then follow our path to the next traversal section. Once you arrive here, you're going to work your way to the top of this tower and then head across here. Now, guys, be careful as you move your way down this wall. There are traps that will launch you to your death. No lying, an eager edge sword is kind of nice. Again, grapples are really nice. Lion rampant saved my life so many times. Now, these also seem to be on a proximity sensor rather than a timer, so feel free to bait your teammates. Now, once you get to the other side, you have 2 options to get to where you need to go. One that requires a bit more jumping, but once you get the hang of it, it does seem a bit faster. Don't worry, we're going to show you both ways here. For those who don't want to deal with the jumping, you can follow the path that we take here to get us to the next section. Now, once you get here, you'll notice that the floor disappears, along with these metal bars that disappear and also reappear. The goal here is to make our way to the other side without falling through the floor to our deaths as everything shifts. Now, I'm sure there's an optimal route here. To be honest with you, I just forced it, man. It's pretty forgiving. Like, as long as you're not really touching the ground much, you can almost like float your way across, finding the pathway that opens up for you or stays open for you. In my opinion though, you should try out this other way, which brings you to the same spot. Now, backtracking a bit, if you come all the way to the edge of the wall here, you can jump around the corner and you can start making your way up here to this rock. From here, you can barely see a ledge that you can make your way to. Once you make it to the ledge, you can continue jumping higher and moving your way across the wall to this area that has a Praxic order symbol on the wall. You'll crouch down, head on through, following our path here. Now, the reason why this is way faster is that from here, you don't actually have to drop down. You can just jump up to this little overhang here, then walk your way all the way to the doorway instead of messing with the floors and the metal bars down below. Again, choose whichever way you want, guys, but I just wanted to put both options in here, and big shout out to Noah for pointing out this path. Now, for both of these ways though, once you get to this hallway, you'll see a splinter that you can shoot, which creates platforms for fire team members who are behind you. Now, from here, you're going to head through this hallway, but as you're doing so, the floor is going to start to disappear. The goal here is to just progress forward without falling. It's not super complicated, but you can follow our path here. Now, once you get around to this tower, you can then jump down to this platform, and then you'll see some additional platforms that you can jump to. From here, you can make your way across this gap to the next area that we need to go to. Now, right in front of the staircase, there will be another resonance interactable that you can use the imbalance octant on. This will open a portal at the top of the staircase and will lead you to the first encounter. Now, after getting through all the traversal and going through the portal, you're going to enter the first enemy encounter where the goal is to balance the scales. This room is going to be split in half, with Cabal on the left side and Taken on the right side. You'll also notice in the air at each of the four corners of the room, there are light and darkness blinds. Now, our goal is to spawn these light and dark orbs, which you can then throw at the blinds to charge them. Now, in order to spawn these orbs, you'll need to kill these orange bar Centurions in a certain order. Now, there are two types of Centurions. There are the Taken Centurions, and then there are the Cabal Centurions. The order in which you kill them results in a different set of orbs spawning. So for instance, if you kill two of the same, that being two Taken Centurions or two Cabal Centurions, this will spawn light orbs. But then if you kill the opposite, that being a Taken Centurion and then a Cabal Centurion or vice versa, this will spawn dark orbs. Now, there's also some visual indicators that may help you as well. For example, killing a Cabal Centurion gives us a buff called Aberrant Energy Cleaved. And then when you kill a Taken Centurion, this will give you a buff called Taken Energy Cleaved. As well as when killing the same type of enemy, you'll see some text that appears that says Aberrant Energy or Taken Energy collides with itself to create paired energy. And then when you kill the opposite enemies, it will say Taken Energy and Aberrant Energy collide to create opposite energy. Listen guys, as much as I love ad clearing, this is one of those rooms you don't want to get too carried away with, especially with those Centurions. Now, once you have your orbs spawned, you then want to take them and start throwing them to the blinds in the air associated with that orb. But there is a mechanic to be aware of. You have to keep things balanced. As you throw the orbs, you'll notice the blight will become larger. And you'll even see a text that says the blight tilts slightly out of balance. Or if you continue throwing at the same blight, it'll say it tilts heavily out of balance. What this means is that if you have 4 dark orbs that drop for you, you need to make sure you throw 2 at one of the dark blights and 2 at the other. And you may even want to just alternate the 2 just to be safe about it. I would pick up one orb, throw it at a blight, then pick up another orb, throw it at the other blight, and then just repeat that process. Now, the goal of this is to fill those blights all the way up. And once all 4 blights are filled, your objective will be completed, and you can then collect the balance octants in the center of the room. This is when a portal will open up back at the beginning of the area where you first entered. Now, when you go to the portal this time, it brings you pretty much to the starting area for the mission, and you're able to interact with this pyramid object and use the balance octant. Your screen will then go black briefly, and it'll show you a cutscene of the mission, literally going upside down, flipping the ascended plane. No lie, honestly, one of the coolest cutscenes for a mission. Trippy as hell. Now you can head back through the portal and progress towards the final encounter, which, yes, is a boss encounter. Now, the boss here is named Disciple of Hera, and it's pretty straightforward. You just want to damage the boss until a quarter of his health bar is depleted. He'll then go immune, and then a shield will go up with a generator inside that you'll need to destroy, along with some yellow bar enemies to kill. You can then keep dealing damage to the boss again until he hits half health, and then another shield will go up, and you'll just repeat the process of destroying the generator to lower the shield. And then you'll keep dealing damage to the boss. Now, when you get to the final quarter of his health bar, he'll go immune again, and this is where the mechanics from the previous room returns. There's going to be 2 black blights in the air again, and you'll need to kill Taken and Combustantarians to get those orbs to spawn again. This time, though, there is another mechanic to note, that is these pyramid objects that you can jump up to, which once you interact with, this will allow the opposite enemy faction to spawn in. Just do keep in mind, the platforms there are on a timer, and they will disappear. Also, the boss will shred you, so be careful peeking too much. Now, we'll mention that this is doable solo, but if you are in a team, you can have 1 or 2 people clearing out ads and dealing with the enemies, with the other player just interacting with these to change the enemy types. And again, you want to change the enemy types so that you carry the buff over to get that opposite kill to spawn in those dark orbs. Now, once you got your dark orbs to spawn in, again, just like the previous room, keep them in balance. Don't throw them all into the same blight. Alternate. Once they've been completely filled up, though, you can then begin to deal damage to the boss again until he's defeated. Now, once he's dead, you'll just need to clear out the remaining ads in the area, and then once that's completed, you'll be teleported into the Praxic vault, where you can collect some loot along with your Praxic Blade exotic sword. Now, if this is your first time completing the mission, you'll also receive a post-campaign exotic quest. But don't worry, guys, it's very straightforward. Essentially, it just has you go and get kills with the weapon. You'll do some light attacks, some throw attacks, and some block and reflective damage. But this will unlock the defensive form mod, which can be picked up in the Darcis outpost. And then after that, you'll need to run through the mission again and defeat targets with the Praxic Blade during the mission itself, which afterwards, you can speak with Honor, who will give you either a blue or green crystal depending on which one you didn't get the first time around. Yes, the first time you get the sword, it's actually RNG which crystal it's going to be. Now, further post-campaign runs of this mission are more or less the same as your first, but you will have legendary difficulty option available, which does have a 30-minute timer and is a little more difficult, but definitely doable even if you're a solo player. Now, this takes us to the Catalyst. If all you want here is the Catalyst, guys, at the start of the mission, before you head in to get the key card, you can head to this tunnel here to the left of where we normally would be going to kill an imbalanced Taken Knight. After you kill this knight, you want to head to the right side of where we would normally go and kill another Taken Knight. Now, if done correctly, you will see the words, "The Rim Trembles," and "Remnants of the Darkness persist through time." Now, for the first catalyst, Echoing Blade, this increases the number of targets that a thrown sword can hit. For this, you're going to be looking for some Taken oddities throughout the mission. Now, we mentioned in the walkthrough where this starts, and that's right before you do the drop down after killing the Portal Keeper. Now, this first one is really important because if you fall down too far, you're going to have a hell of a time getting back up to where you need to be. So be careful here, guys. This first location is right after you drop down the back of the pillar from the very start, which we mentioned before. You're going to go down this hole in the pillar, but as you fall down, you're going to want to look towards your right-hand side and be ready to jump onto this platform. Now, from this platform, just follow the path here to the first interactable. Now you'll end up in this area with a special ammo box, which is a great indicator to know you're in the right place for this catalyst. What you're going to see down here is this little taken ball inside of the wall. Now the goal here for all these balls is to hit them with our Praxic blade to destroy them. In this specific case, you're going to need to walk along the wall next to the Praxic order symbols, which will make the walls disappear. And then you'll need to run back to where the special ammo box was. And you can then throw the Praxic blade, which will hit the taken balls and destroy it. Now, if done correctly, you'll see the text pop up which says 1 of 7 oddities destroyed. This is what you're going to be pretty much doing for the rest of them as well. From here, you can just drop down and continue along the path shown here in front of you. Now this brings us to our next taken ball to destroy. You'll see the same Praxic order symbol here, and you can stand next to the wall for it to disappear. Inside here, you'll see the next taken ball that you need to destroy. Now you can actually just walk up to the wall and then throw the blade and you'll destroy it. And if you're quick enough, you can head back through the way you came. Now if not, you can just jump up onto this ledge here, which leads you to another doorway you can take out. Now from here, you can just follow our path to the next area where our taken oddity can be found. Now in this area, there are actually 3 oddities that we can find. Now you're going to want to follow the path that we took for the secret path. And you'll notice that in a doorway on the back side of the structure, there is an oddity we can destroy. Simply hit it with Praxic and then turn back around and head along this path. Now, before you get to the end, you can head through this pathway on the right, which actually has some stairs that takes you up into this area. From here, you want to make your way over to this part of the room and then jump up onto this slanted ledge and then follow it all the way around to the side. You'll be able to see the Praxic order symbol again, and you just need to drop down into this room after stepping onto the floor. From here, you'll see 2 more walls that have the Praxic symbol on them. Just get up close to them, guys, or you can hit them with Praxic to make them disappear, and then it will reveal the next taken oddity that you can throw the blade at. You can then follow this path back to where the next oddity is. Now this leads us to the next area where we can find our last 2 oddities, and that's the Traversal area right before the first encounter. Now the first one can be found by following this path to the lower section of this column. The last oddity is in the spot pretty high up, at least for us, which is why using things like Strand, get that grapple in there, Lion Rampants, things like that really helps. But there's also another way to get up, and I'm going to show you this path right here. The main thing is that you need to get up to this column, and then you can make your way over to the actual pillar where we destroy the oddity. Now, this one can be a little tricky since it's up inside of a box, basically. I found that the easiest way to hit this one was to stand almost facing the hole where Praxic Blade needs to go, and then just try to throw it in there. Now, this is one where you could possibly run out of ammo if you keep messing up, so don't grab that special ammo right away unless you actually need it. Now, for our second exotic catalyst, this is the Hyperblade. This one takes place in the first encounter room where you normally balance the blights, except this time we're going to be doing the complete opposite. Instead, what you're going to want to do is fill up each blight all the way and then make them completely off balance. Now, when one of the blights becomes unbalanced, you should see a text pop up in the bottom left hand that says imbalance draws the attention of the taken, and then a mini boss enemy called an imbalanced warden will spawn near the center of the room. Now, killing this warden will give you a text saying that the rim trembles, and then it will spawn a taken oddity ball on one of the 4 pillars in the center. Now, you're going to repeat this process 3 more times until all 4 blights become off balance and you have defeated 4 mini bosses. Now, once you have all 4 of these taken balls in the center, destroy them with your Praxic Blade, which will then spawn a huge taken ogre boss called Catalyst of Imbalance. Now, once you defeated him, you should see a text that pops up that says something shifts within the Praxic vaults, and then from here you can continue to complete the encounter like normal in order to progress and head towards the final boss. Now, for the third catalyst, which is the last one we can unlock right now, called the Upper Hand. You remember those taken knights from the beginning of the video? Those finally come into play for this last catalyst. You see, after you complete the first encounter, this is when we get the really cool cutscene of the Ascendant Plane flipping, and then after you head out of the portal, you'll be back where we started before jumping into the portal to start the entire mission. What we want to do here is to run back out to where those taken knights were and destroyed 2 more taken oddities that have spawned at those locations. Do so and then head on back to the final encounter. Now, this is a little more straightforward than what we did for the second catalyst. All we need to do here is just fill up 2 extra white blights instead of just the darkness blights. These 2 blights are going to be situated towards the center of the platform, but basically underneath. Now, what we did was we dealt damage to the boss until we got to the point where we had to start to balance the blights. But instead of doing the darkness blights, we started off with the white blights. After those were full, we went back to the regular mechanic of filling up the darkness blights, and then we could kill the boss and finish the encounter. Now, after getting teleported to the Praxic vaults, you should have your 2 chests along with your 3 catalysts. Just make sure you absolutely loot them from their little case. Now, guys, that's pretty much everything for exotic catalysts, at least for now. But there is a ton left to unlock for the Praxic Blade from different saber crystals, which you can earn through contracts and lawless frontier jobs. You've got blade focus mods that you can unlock by ranking up different syndicates. There's also power cores, which grant the Praxic Blade subclass synergy. And in fact, we got one of these as well called the Refraction Core. This one was RNG based, but essentially near the landing zone for Darce's output, you'll find this dreg laying down and you can trade him credits for junk. Now, it may take a lot. For instance, my editor, it took him like 13 to 15,000 credits to finally get the Refraction Core to drop. So hopefully RNG blesses you. So guys, that is our guide for the Praxic Blade. This weapon is super customizable. I love all the different ways in which we can build it out to our preferred playstyle. If you're looking purely for a review for this weapon, we do have a review of the sword. And even though I couldn't talk about the exotic catalyst at the time, all of our gameplay was with the catalyst, pretty much cycling through all 4 of them. And yes, it has some fantastic subclass synergies. We'll link that one down below if you want to check it out. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching. And as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.